They the Roy's new podcast, who want the smoke? Coming raw and uncut like who want this dope? Whatever you want, they for sure to cover the topic. From racial issues to fashion flies to cockpit. Y'all ain't never get it like this, cause they ain't never did it like this. We on our this the way the cookie crumbles for y'all. She gon' bring the inspiration to all. You know what's up with her. And this shit manifesting is a vision. And y'all gon' love TJ cause he the realest. From the heart of them all, they the start of it all. You looking for a holler and holler at Gerard. The professor, nothing less coming at you with the lessons. Get your edge if you knowin' what's good for you. They educated, but they still keep it hood for you. Won't need another, this one here really do it for you.
Baby, love for you, yeah, baby, I'm in love for you. If it come down to love for you, let me show you how to love for you.
Did we lose Gerard? I guess we lost Gerard. Ain't that something? We still have, so we're gonna keep talking like didn't nothing happen. We just he's gonna come back. We know he is. Yes, and we got viewers out here, so we got to be on track. Right. So as we move, go ahead. So, no, he's not. He was coming back. I was gonna say when Flex come back, y'all got to give him a hard time because he having technical issues over there. You back, Flex? Huh? We can't hear you. Where you disappeared to?
Yeah, this Teddy Riley. I didn't know what was going on.
James said he Teddy Riley.
Cool.
Yo, so we're back for another episode of The Floor Is Yours, and I am here with the crew, or part of the crew anyway. We got Miss Inspirational Chic. Hello. And Flex, the producer, regraced us with his presence. He in the thing.
Amen.
We have Mr. James D. And yours truly, Miss Cookie, in this thing. So we are missing TJ the Realist and Tranquil T today, but y'all are in our thoughts. We love y'all. We miss y'all. So just glad to have y'all here. Thank you, audience, for coming to talk to us for another Sunday. We like talking to y'all on Sundays and Thursdays and Tuesdays and whatever other day we decide to do a show. We like for y'all to be here with us. So we want to tell y'all again, share, invite, thumbs up the thing, get in there, all that good stuff so that you don't miss out on any of the shows that we have going on. And so you can talk to us, okay? So we want to get in this thing. Inspirational Chic now. I want you to go on and recap us on last week's show because I feel like it was good stuff we need to talk about. Well, what we did was we got on with Joshua Pondexter, and he went into talking to us about tax brackets and taxes, and I mean just so much. And of course, it didn't hit me as hard as you working people. And when I say that, that's not in a bad way, but people that with these W-2 forms. See, he says y'all get to work, they take y'all money, and then y'all get to spend your money. It's when you have a business, you get to earn your money, spend your money, and then you pay back in. So he just was breaking it down to just let us understand that it is very prevalent that you understand how it is important to have a second business in order to help with taxes, because they take out a whole lot when you look at this thing. And I'm talking about a lot. Some of it, I'm not, technically savvy, verbally savvy, let me say that, to say, to articulate what he said, but it was a truly good show. And I learned a lot. It was beneficial for me. Gerard was in there getting some nuggets, made him think about some things on how you want to do things better, the difference between the LLCs and the sole proprietor and all those different things, and which one was best across the board, the pros and the cons of all of them. And to me, they kind of all fall in there together, but there's some things that just separate them
that gives you a little bit more benefits if you're doing it by yourself or with a collective group of people, for say employees and things like that. But very interesting topic of discussion. We do have his information that he does things. It used to be on a Friday, but he did his last Friday with us this past Friday, and he'll be doing it on a Wednesday, I believe. Maybe I think is it 7 at night or 9 in the morning, Gerard?
Yeah, what he's doing is he do 2 shows. One is Friday morning at 9 a.m., but you have to go find him on Facebook. It's Joshua Pondexter, Pondexter. That's on Facebook Live at 9 o'clock Central Time. But what he was doing on Friday nights was like an extended discussion on a number of topics. So he's going to move those to either Wednesday or Thursday afternoon, John, just to give people more opportunity to check him out and be a part of the discussion.
Okay, and so he gave you all that information. Just know we will have him on again so that you can inbox questions and everything, and he'll have answers. But a totally awesome show, very informative, and very good for a time such as now. We don't know where James is, but James is going to be back. The Holy Ghost may still have him at this moment. I think he will release him here shortly.
Now listen. Don't you do that. We just gonna pretend like we ain't missing. We just gonna keep on going.
Yeah.
So Misha got y'all together on what last week's show is about. But at the end of the day, if you missed it, you can always go back and watch it. That's what the page is there for. So go back, tune in, listen to it. You might have some questions. Guess what? Drop them in the comments still. We still go back and pull those comments and answer to those. So make sure that you interacting with us, and we'll do the thing. If James come back and join us, we're gonna get his input on the show. But we'll see that when he comes back. So now we get into today's topic. And if you read the post, you kind of got a leg up and you know kind of what we're talking about. But this topic has been controversial for a very, very long time. And it's been really controversial in the Black community and even in the country. So we want to talk about it. We want to get it out there. So the usage of what some people consider terms of endearment. And if let's just say endearment is when I'm telling you, go ahead on, yeah, I'm with you, we on the same page, we in line with one another. Endearment is a good thing. So these things, the uses of these words have been considered terms of endearment. Is it appropriate to use the N word? And I hope y'all know what I'm talking about because I don't want to say it on here. Gerard, you gonna say it? Is it okay to use the N word? And is it okay to use the B word? Is that appropriate or is it not appropriate? We all know that the N word is what it is, but just in case some of y'all don't know, Gerard, I didn't read the script. I didn't know you put this in my part of the script. You supposed to tell people what the N word is. The N word, the one that means Black people, that's with an A on the end, sometimes is the way we say it. That's the N word we're talking about. Or the B word, female dog, B-I-T-C-H is what we're talking about. My kids hear me. They heard me spell it. They know what it is. Yeah. However you want to describe it, these are the 2 words that we're talking about today. I'm going to let y'all ponder on it. I'm going to let y'all drop it in the comments. Go ahead and start talking to us. Let us know how you feel. Is it appropriate to use these 2 words? In the meantime, James has come back to us. James, did you have any input about last week's show?
Let's see, look, hold on. Can you hear us, James? Hold on.
James still getting himself together. He'll come back to us.
Yeah, we'll get caught up.
So inspirational sheet. From my understanding, you kind of came up with this topic. Talk to me. What gave you the motivation behind it?
Well, I don't necessarily know that I came up with it, but we do dialogue, right? And for me, I watch how in one breath, when it comes to the B-I-T-C-H word, and then we use queen. So we'll call ourselves a queen, and then in the same breath, you'll let your friend say the B-I-T-C-H word to you. So even when I was younger, I've never called my girlfriends that, ever. Now, when I was mad, I might have called a girl that in the privacy of, whatever, or when we were arguing. That don't make it right, though. I'm just saying. So we've gotten so used to it, and then just even songs. Now we'll get mad if a man speaks to us in that manner using that word, but it's a ha ha he he moment when it's a girlfriend and we, just it's a little cackle. And then so I just don't really understand how it's okay you to be mad in one sense at a man and then be happy and glad about it, like, and wear it as a badge of honor when our girlfriend said it to us. And not every girlfriend says it. I'm just saying those that do. I'm thankful that I'm surrounded with around a bunch of women that just I don't care for it. So it's just not a part of my lingo. If you do, that's fine. I'm just talking about how I just don't think that it's okay. And then when a man do it, y'all ready to cut his head off. Matter of fact, you in the same home, girls, be ready to chop his head off. That's just that one. Then when it comes to the N-word, you have we'll use kids for example. You got a black son in the middle. He's getting the A from officers or white people, and ER from white people and all that, and then you getting the A from your homeboys and all of that, and in the middle he's stuck there. And either way it goes, he's taken out by one or the other, and we just think that it's okay. But once again, once the opposite race does it to us, then it's just like, oh, we ready to kill or whatever. But when it's black on black, it's just that I guess we're just comfortable with it and it's okay. But it's not, because then it sets the atonement on how people will talk to us and what they feel like they can say, because we do it to each other all the time in front of them. And then their kids get to do it. They start doing it because they're at school and they hear each other talking to each other in the same manner. And then they start doing it to us or your children because they see each other doing it to each other. And it's like, we can do it to each other, but you're not supposed to. So that's kind of, it came up for me.
Yeah.
Got you. James, can you hear us?
Yeah. James struggling over there.
I don't know. I think James froze again.
He froze up again, man. I think his signal bad. Yeah. So
go ahead, Gerard.
Okay, just real quick. I know a lot of times we always want to communicate that we're not always trying to come from a right or wrong issue, because we know people feel differently about the issues, no matter what we bring up. My thing is I think it's important to be fully in the know about, sometimes the consequences and how people could receive, whatever it is that you're doing. In this case, the usage of those two words right there. A lot of us, if we're, especially in corporate America, especially in this cancel culture, you can get in trouble and actually, get penalized for its usage. We're always seeing where people are actions are getting reported to their employers, and the employers get word of it, and now you got to pay, hefty for it. So that's all, more than anything, just, whether you use it or not, it's subjective to each person. Some people use it and they love the words, and, it's truly to them a term of endearment. But with that being said, if you're conscious about it and you know that some people may not receive it well, and you get out there and you use it and you get in trouble, I think you got to be willing to accept the consequences behind it. That's what I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So for anybody that just tuned in, we are talking about the use of the B word and the N word. We're asking, is it appropriate to use those words? So Inspirational Chic has talked to us, Flex has talked to us. James, you look like you move, and I'm still waiting on you. Can you hear me?
Thanks, James, on connections, Jack. So we'll go. Oh, okay.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You're coming in a little clearer too now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm Teddy Riley then.
Yeah, so go ahead and answer, give us your input on it. And you froze, but we can hear you, so I guess that works.
You guys can hear me right now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really
You got any thoughts on it? Or you can go ahead and share your thoughts, or we can just move past you until you get your connection right. Yeah, go ahead, Miss Cookie. We'll go with you. Go ahead and.
All right. So my stance on it is this, in which I guess a lot of it, I feel like we are socialized and kind of put together a lot of times by what's going on in the media. And so especially like the younger generation, they watching what's going on TV, and the hot thing is, oh, I'm a bad bee and all this and the other. So that's what they're seeing and that's what they're hearing a lot of times. So it makes it more okay. Now, granted, I will not sit here and say that I've never been like, what? Because I've done it. Like in conversation, I have actually absolutely done it. And I would not lie and say I wouldn't. Have I used the N word? Yes, I have. I would not sit here and say I have never in my life used that word. But, and I told you Rod this before the show, I guess my hang up on it is I gotta set an example for my kids. So I don't allow them to use the N word, and it eats me up when I'm around other little kids that use it, and the parents think it is just the funniest thing ever. And so I don't want my kids to do it. So now I feel like I gotta live an example for the way that I want them to be. If I had a daughter, I wouldn't want her to let nobody call her the B word. So it's like now I need to live that example. So while I may not always be able to mold how people come at me, I can decide what I answer to. So if I don't like that, then I can say, hey, yeah, I'm not feeling that right now. There's so many other things we can call each other other than that. So I can change it in that way. And at the same time, I can control what comes out my mouth. So I have to be aware and be proactive in my thoughts and in my feelings and what's going on beforehand. And I do think that a lot of it has to do with kind of like the setting or the situation and what's going on. Because like I said, when people talking with their girls, they're like, hey, listen, da, 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 da. And it's not even a second thought. But if you out somewhere and somebody call you that, then you ready to fight. So it's like it's the same word, but it's the context in which it's being used or the person that's using it towards you. So I do feel like we have to be careful in those things. And that's kind of my take on it and where I stand with it and what I think about it.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
They say you good.
To get this conversation to make it flow easier for me, I'm gonna say ninja and I'm gonna say beach. Right? Because I'm not about to be over saying N word, B word, NIGGA, blah blah blah. So for future reference, as long as we going, you know what ninja is, you know what beach is. All right, we good?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So me, I'm gonna be the person in the room that's the hypocrite, and I'm okay with being a hypocrite. I'm okay with that. I think it's perfectly fine, okay, for black people to use the word ninja, and I got a problem with anybody that ain't black using the word ninja. You can say it ain't fair, guess what? It wasn't fair when they was using it as a negative term for the hundreds of years that they did. So whenever somebody in history decided to flip it and make it something good for us and bad for them and make us feel empowered to say it and make other people feel timid and scared to say it, I'm with that, all with it. So I'm perfectly fine with that, and I'm okay with being a hypocrite about it. It doesn't bother me. I use the word ninja daily, every day, all the time, and I'm not gonna stop using it for anybody. As it pertains to my kid, I teach my kid ninja is in the same group of words as any other profane word, so he knows that he's not supposed to use that word, especially around adults, because we also have to be honest and real about it. We know that kids, because when you were a little kid, you used profanity. So I'm not going to sit up here and be naive and think that my kid is some green kid that don't use that stuff when I'm not around. If I catch him, it's on. But as long as I don't, it is what it is. But I want him to be respectful and make sure that he's not using any profane word towards adults, and understands that when he becomes an adult, he can use the words that he chooses to use, as long as he's okay with whatever consequences and repercussions come with it. Now, at the same time, we have to be respectful of everyone's wishes. So if me and Flex were having a conversation, and I know that Flex is the type of person who may feel that that's a derogatory word and he doesn't want that word being used towards him, guess what? I'm gonna respect that man and I'm gonna treat him as such, just like anybody else. And when it comes to the word beach, I feel like beach is the female version of ninja for women. Women use it towards each other as a term of endearment, but if a man calls them that, it's off limits, offline and off limits, and it's a problem, and I'm okay with that too. Same thing. I'm okay with women being hypocrites with the word beach. It's okay. It's okay to me. I think it's okay to be hypocritical about certain things, because what's hypocrisy? It's just the views and opinions of how people feel about something, right? Like if you feel something is right and then you flip it and switch it later on. It's okay to be like that because we're human. So I'm not going to sit and act holier than thou and act like I don't do this and I don't do that and proper decorum, because what really bothers me is when people feel like it's okay to use it in a certain audience, but they don't want to say it around white people. Let's just be real. They don't want to say it around white people. Man, forget that. Like, I can understand you wanting to come across as professional in the workplace, so there are certain words that you don't use any word in the profane language group of words. But when it's that, but when you can say every other word, but then you act different with the word ninja around white people, I got a problem with that. I'm tired of black people feeling like they have to cater to white people. I'm not catering to any white person. Any word that I choose to use, I'm gonna use that, and I'm not going to not use a word because of the color of someone's skin. And I don't care if they're uncomfortable with it. Guess what? We got to remember, segregation was like, what, 56, 57 years ago? So if you know somebody who 58, 59, 60 years old, you know somebody who was very uncomfortable when it came time to eat, when it came time to sit on a bus, when it came time for all these things. We can't act like that stuff was so long ago when they were empowered to use the word. Guess what? Now it's our turn, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And see, it's some other words, just kind of touching on that, James. It's some other words that aren't even like profane words that I don't like to be called, but it's just, that's my personal preference. Like, don't call me a gal. I hate to be called a gal. And I know some kids that will call grown folks gal, and that goes all over me. I don't like to be called a mammy. Don't call me that either. Like, it's just certain things that people don't like to be called, and I understand you can respect it and how people feel about it.
I totally agree with what you're saying. Most black men don't like to be called boy.
Boy, yes.
Oh no, I totally get it. And on the same end, I'm not the type of person that use the word beach or garden. We can say hoe, right? Is hoe cool?
You said it now. We good. Go ahead.
All right. I don't use those terms as general reference to women. Now, do I got homeboys that do that? Yeah, I do. Do I say something like, bro, why you always got to call it a beach, dog? Why you got to call them beaches, bro? Like, it's so many other things. And that's the way I'll joke and laugh about it. But I'm not the type of person that think I'm some 1970s pimp going around calling girls beaches and hoes all the time. It's just not something that I personally do. And I definitely teach my son that, you know, as it pertains to disrespecting women. But then again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. If a woman chooses to call another woman that, and both parties in the conversation are okay with it, then cool. Because there are a lot of women who don't like, hey, don't call me no beach. Like, nah, like, I mean, we cool, but you know, like, I've seen women check other women like, girl, I was just playing her, just the way I talk, blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah, you know, sometimes some women have to come to an understanding. So I think it just depends on the individuals in the conversation. As it pertains to me, like, I don't even like women that curse all the time like dudes. Or like, you know, we were talking about trigger words. Like, I used to have a problem with girls that call each other bro all the time, or say bro. It came across real masculine, especially like when it was like a very, very popular word, like in the late 10s. So weird saying that because it just makes us feel so old. Anyway, yeah, but like, yeah, but like the late 10s or the turn of the century. But yeah, so that's that.
Hey, I'll just say, just to amplify what James talked about, you know, and I kind of touched on it earlier. It means different things to different people. But I do like that he said that he's going to be considerate of the audience, the people that he's around. And, you know, like he gave the example of me. If he's around me and he knows that I'm, you know, not comfortable with the word, that he'll take that into consideration and not use it. So that's more than anything, man. Man, things mean so many different things to different people. I remember being in Bosnia back in the 90s, and you know, the peace sign is, you know, it is what it is here in our country, but over in Bosnia, they barred soldiers from using the peace sign because it was a derogatory sign. I don't know exactly what it meant because that was a while ago, but it wasn't a good thing to use the peace sign over there. So again, things mean different things, different people. You know, words in the English language, it evolves and it does take on different meaning to different people. But again, 7.8 billion people on this earth. And the thing is, man, how do we learn to coexist? You know, you can't consider everything for everybody. But again, to James' point, I will be considerate around for how I use it.
You definitely can't please everybody.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. Okay, I see you, Sheikah. Appreciate it.
What about this one here, James? I know you talked about this question right here from Mina. She said, no, any race can be the N-word, but I don't understand why we call each other the N-word. But when another race call you that, you're ready. So James, in our discussion earlier before the show, you had talked about that, like anybody can be the N-word. You agree with that? You want to elaborate on that one?
No, I think anybody can be a ninja. Yeah, but everybody can't say ninja. And that's it. That's the rule. Like, just like it was okay for people to eat food, but Black people couldn't go in certain restaurants. That's just the way it was then. So this is the way that it is now. Like, we took that. That's ours now. You can't have that back. And it's simple as that. Like, so, hold on. Let me get back to it. Because I want to make sure that I'm articulating this properly, and I wrote it out a little bit. Keep going. I'll come back to it.
Okay. So while James pulling it up, we got a question on for a response from D. Smith. The term of endearment is a word or phrase used to address or describe a person, animal, or inanimate object for which the speaker feels love or affection for. So, you know, that's kind of why they call it that, you know, my N-word or whatever. I'm like, like James said,
read her second comment. She said, with that said, absolutely not for either. I believe word origin is important. I believe even if we put a positive spin on it, there's a negative residue still there, which tears away at who the person is.
Yeah, I agree.
I just think that things change and evolve. And let's just be real about it. It has changed and it has evolved. And I think that sometimes when you say certain things, the words that you choose to use add to the impact of the word. If you hit your finger on something and you say, dang it. And if you hit your finger on something, you like, with a profane word, to me, if I'm listening to it, I think that the second pain hurt more than the first pain because of the emphasis and the way that words have power. And I get that. I mean, we can go back in history, and some people have fake history when it comes to the word ninja. Be like, well, it started from this and that, like, and you know, and none of it's true with some of the history that people try to put out to justify the use of the word. It came from the Negro or Negro this tribe and Negus, and it came from some Egyptian god named Naga or Negus or whatever the case may be. No, it's none of that. It was a derogatory word that people were using towards Black people. Then later on in life, Black people flipped it, made it powerful for themselves, and made the people that was oppressing us with the word, now they feel uncomfortable saying it. And now it's off limits for them. We took it. And I think there's power in that. Like I said, there's power in words, and it's just a difference of opinion. And if someone is more of a history buff and like, because just to be real about it, like the generation of people that came before us that were like I told you earlier, like people who were old enough, who probably in their 60s and 70s now, who were living in segregation, who were freely called nigger and blah 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 blah. They had it hurts. It's a hurtful word, and they, of course, they don't like the use of that word. So I just think it's also a generational thing, because we didn't come up in a time where white people would have felt empowered to freely call somebody that as a derogatory term. Now they'll get their butt whooped.
And see, that was my next thing that I was gonna say, is that it's generational, because my daddy is over 70, and so if my daddy say it, he ready to fight. Now, mind you, my daddy in a wheelchair and one half of his body don't work. But if you call him that word, he gonna be on your head in that wheelchair, not giving a care at all. I remember my daddy was probably, I'm gonna go with like late 50s, early 60s. And he was working on this construction job. And a white man there on the site called him that they were building that the indoor field that's at Texas High, that's on Summer Hill Road where they practice football. They were building that. They were up on the top of that thing. And that man called daddy that. Next thing I know, I'm getting a call from daddy. Daddy done jumped on the man on the roof of the building, and they up there fighting. They done called me to come get Danny. Well, listen, I'm not gonna come pick you up from the principal office because you're too old for this. But like that, I mean, just in their generation, because they did live through that and they lived through the hard times that were associated with that and the segregation and the things that went on. Because my parents went to segregated schools. They didn't come up in kindergarten with all different races in their class. Like my mama's school didn't integrate until her 12th grade year. So they grew up and lived through that. So their feelings on it are a lot different than what my feelings are because their history behind it is a lot different than what my history is. But at the end of the day, I feel like I can find so much other stuff to call you other than, you know, those things or whatever. And I look at it once again from an aspect of dealing with my kids. Like, I don't gotta call you an N-word to make you feel empowered. Like, I call you a whole lot of stuff. Those my princes, those my little kings, that's my whoever. I can find a lot of other stuff to call you. But once again, I'm not gonna ever say that I haven't done it because I have. So I think it's kind of being real and then deciding going forward, how do you want to deal with it? How do you want to feel about it? And I'm not going to take the time to research the history from where it came from and all that stuff. I'm just going to decide on if I'm going to use it or if I ain't. And then I'm going to go forward with it and deal with it that way.
And here's a question that kind of on the line with Misha's point. This is a co-worker, ex-co-worker of mine. She says, I'm old school. Calling someone a B is never acceptable. The N-word was used among our race only and acceptable for us back in my day. There was no integration. It was only us and whites. Using the N-word was never acceptable and still isn't. So, Mish, you want to expound on that?
No, I really don't. I'm going to be honest. All I'm saying is this. Like I said in the beginning, I said it like I said with cooking. I'm going to agree with her. I've used it before both ways. I made a decision not to use it. And like you say, whatever your choice is, that's that. I just don't. Because trust me, I know a lot of men that don't want to be called a beach A-N by women. So across the board, then they be ready to fight on that end when a woman do it in that manner. So I don't see how it's okay. It ain't, because we say that until it's said and done to us. And then we kind of, go different ways. But once again, let me clarify, to each his own. There is no right or wrong way. That was just my preference. And so that's why I put it out there, because they do go back in when you lead up in reading the dictionary, basically being the N-word basically talks about your character or who, how you carry yourself. So I think that's where when we use the term that everybody can be in white people and all of that. However, I do notice that we came into making it a black and white issue when we were basically discussing black on black. And what I realized is that we always take it back to black on white, black and white. And then we got Latino and all of those. So there's more to it than just black and white. Latinos use it, other people. So let's just, if we're going to bring it full spectrum. But basically we were trying to just get more down into why we do it to one another. And so that's kind of, where it all, I guess we're trying to get to. So, I mean, it's a very interesting dialogue, and, hey, I'm taking it all in, and I guess you get to see how people look at it differently, and that's okay. But you do get to, understand why we feel it's okay and why some people don't. Yeah. And I respect that part.
I did a personal social experiment one time, right? I dedicated myself to going 30 days without using the word ninja. And it was hard for me to go the 30 days without using the word ninja. And what I tried to do was replace it with the word king. And I mean, honestly, it just hit different for me. Let me do this though. Let's shift the conversation a little bit and add some different outliers to it and bring in relationships, right? So I want to get each of your opinions. I'm gonna give 2 scenarios, and I just want to get your thoughts on it. How do you feel about using the word? Some women do not. We're going to go with women who do not like being called a beach at all, right? Straight up and down, don't call me a beach. From a man, right? But those same women are okay with a person that they're in a relationship with only using that term when during sexual intercourse, right? Like, because like, talk to me dirty, nasty, blah, 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 blah. And then they're okay with being called derogatory terms during intercourse. But like they have set rules, like I can be your nasty little blah, 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 blah during sex because I'm a freak in the sheets or whatever you want to say. But outside of that, we're gonna, you're gonna treat me as a woman who we're gonna conduct as such. Like, though that's only for the confines of the bedroom. So I want to get your thoughts on. I'm not asking, do you allow that in the bedroom or not? That's not my business. I just want your opinion on this scenario, women who are okay with it in that scenario, but not okay with it in any other outside scenario. And then that's for the word beach. Now for the word ninja, let's talk about interracial relationships. Like, some people feel like, oh, because I'm with someone of the different race or whatever, then I'm not racist. So that makes it okay. And they feel like they should be allowed to use that word within the confines of their relationship because they're with somebody of their relationship. They feel like they get a quote unquote pass. So let's talk about, let's just sum it up like that. Relationship passes with the word beach, relationship passes with the word ninja. What are your thoughts? Let's start with you. Let's start with you, G. What you got?
It's kind of the same. I know what happens is people get comfortable. So that's even amongst the same race. But even with interracial or either, in the confines of your bedroom, now I'm going to go back to, our statement that we use a lot. Like, man, what works for you? And me personally, well, I don't date, nothing against dating interracial, but I mean, I don't do it. But at the same time, if they do it, man, I mean, I think we do stuff not considering how bad it can go. And my thing is, if you get comfortable, and I've seen it, whether it was somebody I was extra cool with or someone that was just in the vicinity and they're in a relationship with each other and they use it. Like, those things can get bad, man. And my thing is, when you use it and not understanding the consequences, and then when somebody, go off the deep end because and then they act surprised. I don't think any of us in this world, well, I shouldn't say any of us, the majority of us, we're not ignorant to a point that we don't know that it can get ugly if you use that word around the wrong person. And so that's what I'm saying. More than anything, whatever it is that you're doing, man, accept the consequences and don't play victim when it turns bad for you. That's where I go.
Okay, let's go with you, Cookie. Relationship passes with the word beach. Relationship passes with the word ninja. Not asking if you allow it or don't allow it, but how do you feel about it?
So my take on it is, if it's a no, it's a no. And definitely what Gerard said, I guess what works for you works for you. But as far as me, in my opinion, if I'm gonna go with that, we ain't gonna use it, we just ain't gonna use it. It's not gonna be exceptions and let's go around and let's talk around, but on this one day it's okay and on that other day it ain't. We just not gonna use it. And I've never necessarily dealt with it myself, but I dealt with it with a very dear friend that was dating interracially, and her boyfriend would do it. Like, he would use the term, and I'm like, hold on, what did he say? And so the first time I heard him say it, it kind of took me off guard. But the second time I heard him say it, he used both words towards us while we were out at stages. My age might be showing a little bit, but we was at stages at the club. And after a few shots, it wasn't gonna sit well with me. We had to go home that night. But it's just like a no is a no for me. I'm not finna talk around and make it okay here and there, because then that's when you get into a gray area. Either it is or it ain't, and that's it. That's all.
Yeah. All right, Inspirational Chic. Before you give your input, I got to get some of these comments out.
Oh no, you do that and try to bring a little coolness in here first, but I'm gonna let you go.
Denisha Ewens Hill said that's kind of like role playing. Sheikah said, sorry, both is a no for me. She also said, call me your little maid, nurse, or something, not beach. I might stop mid-6. And then Christian Dior said, when I'm caught up in a rapture, you can call me a gorilla. I don't care. I probably
He gonna hear it anyway.
That was funny. I laughed at that one.
Inspirational Sheik. Relationship passes with the word beach and ninja. Not asking if you do it, but how do you feel about it?
No. And even when I did role play, it wasn't gonna be no beach in there. How about that? Because people do role playing. We real, and that's true. Now, when y'all saw you put up that now, when it comes to the interracial relationships, I have a son-in-law that's Latino. I have a daughter-in-law that's Dominican. So everybody, it don't roll like that. I mean, but when I saw you put up that hand, it's like you don't. But I got that. There's some mixture in my family, and I love them. But in a relationship, no, I don't think you get a pass to just use it because we're together. However, let me give a disclaimer. There are people that do it around their partners. And when that partner goes into it, knowing that it's okay, they feel like it's okay because we've allowed them to be comfortable with us saying it around each other and all that. But the minute they chime in on the conversation, once again, it's a problem. And I'm pretty sure they do it in private at home because people don't feel comfortable with something they're not allowed to do. Am I saying it's okay? No, it's not. Because I just wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want it to be said around little kids because at the end of the day, when you got mixed children that are out here, and now they hear you in this, they hear you in one way, and they're two different colors. And now you got, sometimes you do it. And I'm not saying all of them, but you got this back and forth that they're caught in. And I'm not saying we do it, but they're in a world now where they see the color of their mama's skin or their daddy's skin in turmoil, and they got to mix that in their household. So where does the common ground come to be able to now structure it in a way of letting them understand that it's not okay? And, how do you set those perimeters in those boundaries? Because now you do have a lot of interracial families, and I love them, to be quite honest. Don't get me, I love us black on black, but whatever you work for you. But if it becomes to be Indians or whatever, I don't care. As long as you love and you got respect for one another, it works for me. Because my next can be Puerto Rican. I wouldn't care. He could be halfway purple as long as he breathing. I'm just saying. That was a joke. Okay, but anyway.
Hey.
But see, Misha, my input on that is like dealing with kids that, with a teenager. I got a teenager or whatever. And so my baby has talked to girls of different races and stuff like that. Where my problem come in is when, as a mama, I sit back and think about what if your parents call my son that, then I ain't gonna have no understanding because Mama Bear is gonna come out and she coming.
Well, so I wouldn't come out. I'm just saying when he asked it, when they was just like, if I'm just saying I'm not gonna let somebody do that to my child. I'm not. I'm just saying what I'm gonna do is teach mine in the manner of what's not acceptable. What I'm not gonna let you do is feel like it's okay for you to be outside doing it with them, and then when they go outside the bracket with it and come left, then you want to pop it when you don't sit there and you don't make them feel like no, that's what. But I get it. No, don't do my kids like that. No, don't do me like that.
Well, this was in response to Flex saying that he hasn't dated outside of his race.
Not necessarily.
Oh, I thought you said I don't. That's what I heard. What did you say?
Well, have it and don't is different. I have, but it's just not my thing, Just for some.
He tried.
Yeah, you said I don't date outside my race.
But that don't mean I haven't done it in the past.
What you said was I don't date outside my race.
Hey, man.
That what you said? I want to make sure I get it right.
Anymore.
He said going forward.
Okay, so that's why I did this, because me personally, I don't date outside my race. I never have dated outside my race. I never will date outside my race. To each his own. But as for me, I choose not to date outside my race. And so that was what this was for, because he said I don't date outside my race. Now, people who do choose to do that, that's on them. I just feel like that the mentality about like a lot of other races, they preach sticking with their own as a form of empowering. And then a lot of times in other races, I mean, even, a lot of other cultures have even arranged marriages because they want to strengthen their families, strengthen their culture, strengthen their race. And then when people do go outside of it, they be ready to disown. Am I going to do anything like that? No. But would I prefer for my son to date a black woman? Yes, I would. And I don't think that should be taboo to say. I don't think it should be taboo for anybody to have a issue with someone wanting to be with somebody in their own race. Again, if people choose to go outside of that, that's on them. But for me, I'm not doing that, and I make no apologies for it. And as it pertains to interracial children, they Black. It's okay to embrace both sides of their culture, but I promise you, when they get pulled over, they Black. So, like, I think like they should have a stronger, and we also have to admit that Black is the dominant gene. Even people in other cultures, like, they would refer to it as being tainted, but I don't consider it to be tainted. I consider it to be dominant. So that's what that was for.
Misha, you got
Leave it alone. That's what we keep saying. Like, what worked for you, man. Ain't no wrongs about it. So, amen.
Yeah, I'm not doing it though. I can't. I'm not swirling.
No, but however, James says not to each his own. But in the sense that he just said a while ago, he basically contradicted that, because a while ago he said at the end, I'm gonna get it right, because you said it to each his own, but then when you came down and you said nobody should, everybody, in other words, should want their children to date Black, right?
No, I said if someone did have that mentality, they shouldn't feel bad for it, because I said other cultures push that. We're the culture that doesn't, and our culture is the most mixed and diluted, and that's why, like right now, statistically speaking, we lost our place. What? 10 years ago, no, with the 2000 after the 2000 census, we lost our place as the majority minority, and like our race actually population wise is going down as opposed to other ones going up. But I think we're digressing from the main topic of the conversation. I apologize for going that route.
Oh, cool, man. We can go with it.
Look, I'm over here laughing at these comments they got going on. Denisha done said she could blend. It would turn me off if I was called nurse, maid, etc. Stop playing. We all stop playing. We all like that nasty sex. We all adults.
Man, what Denisha got going on?
Person to be on these shows, he always has a different opinion about these things. Talking about James, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Like I guess what I'm saying is, if someone else chooses to do that, like I'm not going to criticize the down them, but I shouldn't be criticized for being unapologetically Black. That's what I'm saying.
Of course, I agree with that, man. It's to each his own. I think that goes back to that, and I mean, you said that.
Even if you want nasty sex, it's to each his own. Me, I don't care for it.
And I caught a lot of criticism for that stance, especially in college, because I went to a PWI. So I got all my homeboys like, you tripping, man. Like, you better get on these slopes. Better, get on these slopes. Get on the slopes was a term meaning to get you a snow bunny.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and I'm like, no. Like, I went to a PWI, predominantly white institution, and even though I went to a school like that, I never dated outside my race. And even when white girls would try to talk to me or flirt with me, I would cut them off real quick. And then they would think I'm mean, I'm a jerk, I'm this or that or whatever. But I wasn't that when they were flirting in the beginning, but now it's a problem. But I don't care, I'm okay with that. Like, I don't have a problem being the type of person that says I only like Black women. I think that I think that more people should be like that. But for the people who choose not to, that's okay. I mean, Martin Luther King dated a white girl. So, it is what it is.
My thing about it, and again, I'm not at all against anybody. I just go back to that earlier point I made by being fully in the know about it. Especially me, like some of the issues I'm passionate about when it comes to, equality and things like that. I just know that it brings a added element that you will have to deal with. And not saying that it's a good or a bad thing, but for me, and what I relate to and the things that I'm passionate about, it just who I am, man. And again, nothing against it. I have dated outside my race, and it was nothing wrong with that person. But at the end of the day, when it comes to me dating someone who suits my purpose, I prefer to be with someone in my race.
Gotcha. Good discussion today. I'm loving it. Misha, you got us a love note over there. You ready to love note us? We didn't get no love today.
I don't have anything today.
Well, that's
I feel like a bad student. Like, now you don't get to go to recess after lunch.
No, that's not a bad thing. I mean, love note sometimes is pulling back from just letting the moment be what it is. Letting
Mhm.
people have the moment to say what they need to say and how they need to say it and respecting that. So my love note today is I'm gonna respect other people's views on tonight and let them and not have an ill malice feel about it because we have the right to feel, express and say what we need to. So my thing is tonight, I'm just gonna give respect where it's due. That's my love note. By coming back, sitting down, and not trying to be like, oh, we should no. You should stay the way you should, the way you want to think or how you think. That is not a wrong or right way. And we respect that, or I do, because I do the love notes and I respect that. So that's what I'm doing tonight. Everything that was discussed or said, it comes from a point of view of how that person chooses to operate, think, or feel about a word being called it or whatever, and that's fine. So my respect is to say, hey, I respect it. Thank you for sharing, and that's my love. No, and that's growth for me because usually you feel like you got to come in to have something to. James, I heard you kind of.
No, the last part you said it was funny.
Can you refer that so I can know I can laugh too?
You said you made a comment because normally I come in and be like blah 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 blah, but I had to grow from it.
No, really, I have because I wanted to keep going with you, but at the end of the day, it's still respecting how you feel, and I didn't do it, and that for me would go whether you understand it or not. I do, and I'm very proud of me because I can go toe for toe with this tongue, and it's just sometimes you have to know that you have to let people say what they got to say, and that's what I'm learning to do, and I'm loving it because you get to see it from different angles and why people feel the way they do about that. So tonight, that's all I got. Thank y'all for dialogue, and that's what I love, the dialogue. Continue to do it.
That's why the floor is yours, and that don't just pertain to the audience. The floor is ours too, so you can have your own opinion and everything. I love it. Yeah.
Is your neck stuck, James, or you just leaned over to the side?
Man, James can't
Fight me, man. Like, you know what? We made it 2 episodes. We made 2 episodes without her trying to fight me. Now we got to start all over. It's like, what do you call it? Like when you have an incident at work, 30 days without an incident. Now it just went back to 0.
I'm not.
Y'all are my witness. Y'all saw her charge me up, right?
No.
Everybody saw you charge me up. They were like, what you say? What was funny?
No, because you laugh.
No, I want to laugh too. And then I can't even lean my head. I can't even like, dang, that's just the way
I thought the neck was stuck.
You leaning your head? You leaning your head, ninja? That's what I heard.
No,
Did anybody else hear her say that? I heard her say, "Are you leaning your head, ninja?" That's what I heard, man. Look, I don't want no smoke.
Buckets, James. Buckets.
Love this week is love. Love everybody. Don't fight. Be turn the cheek. Jesus, all that. That's our love. No,
I didn't say turn the cheek because I don't do good at that. I'm not turning. If I turn
we see because I turned my cheek and you just got mad at me.
No, you didn't.
I was turning my cheek. I wasn't even leaning my head, man. Dang, I was trying to be like Jesus. I can't even be like Jesus. Dang, man.
See, y'all be acting up. Get back in your own corners, cause y'all both for you. Go back over there, cause y'all not. That's the end of it.
If it was a fight, I was handcuffed with my hands behind my back, and she was punching me because I ain't even do nothing.
See, you guilty because you're talking. Just be quiet. Just be quiet. Just hush. Inspirational chick. Now listen. You got a community spotlight recognition. You want to talk to me about that?
Well, what I'm about to do, thanks to Mr. Professor, he's always trying to pull something out. What is that?
Took my earpiece
out. Messing up again.
Oh, okay. So I will be doing maybe once a week that I will be doing a community spotlight, and she will be my inspirational chick of the week. And I happen to have one this past week by the name of Candace Richardson. And I love Candace simply because Candace is just boldly and just her. in every aspect, but she also does very well with the children. She does during the summertime. She likes to promote them to read outside of the school. She's a librarian as well, but she's also going to school to, further her career in criminal justice. But it's just the fact of how she's just simply her. She'll give us a gospel song. She'll give you nuggets to think about on her Facebook page. Some of them are very comical. I mean, it's just a whole lot to her. And the reason for her and the women, the reason I want to spotlight, I don't want it to be like the people that always have the big names in the city or different like that. We kind of look over the people that basically have, I don't want to say no names, but I mean the big names that are not out there, but they are very effective in reaching a mass in the community, and it's just simply being them. So just looking for the raw and the rare, and then it won't just be strictly that. I just want to look for women that inspire other women, no matter what, what arena that it is. I'm just looking for love, light, and inspiration. And sometimes that won't always be, let me not say sometimes, it won't always be a woman. There will be men. It will be a diverse for me, because I feel like men and women need to be acknowledged for what they do and to be loved on, without having the big platform of a celebrity status name. But you are truly a celebrity to me, or light and energy that exudes it and helps somebody push through their day, or you give them a nugget to make it through, or give them something to think about, just a lot of different things. So that's going to be my segment. I'm not sure what day do we discuss on doing that on?
Yeah, so this next one is going to vary by the week, based on the availability of ourselves and the people that we bring on. But this one is going to be actually Tuesday at 7 p.m. And I talked to you. I won't get where I'll let you kind of talk about who's coming on Tuesday.
Well, we will be having Miracle Hendricks on, one of our very own from Texarkana, Texas, which is now in the Dallas area. He's married now, and he's just evolved from a young man into a man, and he's doing great things for himself, and he's come a long way. So he will be our spotlight for Tuesday, and we look forward to sitting down with him and having a very good love note section and loving on him and letting him be light, energy, and inspiration.
Yeah, thing about Miracle, if people that from Texarkana, they know him. The dude, man, he's one of the most humble people I've met in my life, man. He's been through a lot, but he didn't let circumstances dictate or limit his success. And he moved to the Dallas area and got a successful barbershop out here in the area, and he has his own clothing line. But not to give too much here, but we're gonna let him tell his story. He's an author. Miracle is just awesome. But at the same time, he has maintained his humble spirit, man. And I love that about him. So looking forward to having dialogue about him Tuesday at 7 p.m. We'll start posting about that this evening and actually advertise over the next couple of days. So if you're available Tuesday evening, tune in and check that out.
Awesome. All right, y'all. So parting thoughts. James, do you have any parting thoughts for us?
Let me go last. I'll let everybody else go first.
Now listen. I'm is the teacher today. You don't supposed to tell me what we do.
That way I can say and I can run out before somebody try to fight me.
That's why I'm letting her go first so she can get the last lick.
See, it's like.
Hey, Cookie, we have to go off of the area anyway and have a 5-minute intermission in the back, so it doesn't really matter.
Lord, don't make no sense, Jane. Don't show that you're scared like that. You is scared. Come on, Flex, what you got?
Man, a couple things. First and foremost, love is correction. So if you see my post with a typo and you don't correct me, you don't love me.
Oh.
I'm gonna put that out there. I had Endearment out there all jacked up. And I'm saying I am not the sensitive guy that if you correct me, I'm gonna get mad. So don't be having me out there looking bad in these Facebook streets, first and foremost. And number two, man, we should talk about this. Man, we have a lot of discussions about life in general, but we talk about appreciation, right? And if someone does something for people, it is not wrong to hold them accountable. People say if you do something for me, don't bring it up. My thing is, if I bring it up, it is not to hold it over your head. But it's to show you like, hey, it seems like you're not appreciating my sacrifice. And my thing is, if you don't appreciate my sacrifice, let me know. Hey, don't do this for me because I'm not going to appreciate it. And you're going to save us a whole lot of heartache and bad feelings. It is nothing wrong. And actually, it's absolutely right to hold people accountable and to make them show appreciation if you sacrifice some of your blessings for somebody else. So that's it.
I like that. What you got, Misha?
Oh, nothing.
Boom, there it is. That was your point out right there. That was it. That was it.
You saved it for later, James. You gonna get it?
Yeah, she really trying to get me. I know what she's trying to do. It's all good. Okay.
I'm not for real though.
My parting words. Be respectful.
I love it.
My parting words are be respectful of everyone else's beliefs, but the most important thing is to be confident and be comfortable in believing and be steadfast in believing what you believe. It's okay to be respectful of what everybody else feels, but don't compromise your own belief to, at the expense of others. Let me give you an example. Like I said, I don't have a problem with people if other people choose to date outside their race, right? But when I was in college, one of my homeboys, he asked me, like, why wouldn't I, or why hadn't I at the time dated a white girl? And my response to him was, for every okay looking white girl, there's a more beautiful black woman. So why settle for less? That's what I said. So my parting words are black love, all black everything, and rooting for everybody black. And I'm done.
That's it. All right. James has spoken, y'all. So we want to thank y'all for joining another episode of The Floor Is Yours. And I want to tell you, like, if y'all have family or friends or whoever that are not on Facebook, you can follow us on YouTube too. So you can go over there and watch the videos, everything. So get in touch with us on one platform or the other. We love talking to y'all, love interacting with y'all. So let's get in. And Misha, he said, don't fight me. On the screen, it said, don't fight me. He's scared. He is not about that life. So,
that's how they set you up. So when they call the police, I put it out there. Everybody know.
Yes. Now, that's all we got. I do want to dare y'all to come dance with me this week. I'm dancing on Tuesday and Thursday. If you about that life and you got good needs, come dance with me. In that thing. That's all I got. Flex word outro.
Oh man, I wasn't ready. You missed it.
Oh.
Why you doing it?
What you got, James?
Hey, 2 things. Don't drink alone, don't watch alone. So anytime you're watching the show, make sure you invite a friend. Never watch by yourself. Every week, it should be a new person being added.
And James, I need you to. James, I need you to.
I can't afford good candles like that. I can only get candles when they're on sale.
No, it says relax. It says I need you to relax.
I can only get, candles when they're on sale at, what's this place called when they be on sale? During the holidays.
Bad the body out there in their line.
No, we don't even say their name. They ain't, hey, we ain't saying your name unless you're plugging. Right.
Hey, I know that's right, bro.
Endorsements. Where the money at?
Peace out, y'all.
Now it's my turn to tell y'all about my big bro Gerard and the podcast crew. From TJ the realist, Miss Cookie the professor, and you can't forget about the inspiration shit. They talk about it all, got advice for us all. You'll never know how deep the talks will go. On the weekdays, the weekends, they be going live with the topics. Then they do the segment where the floor is yours. You can post your comments, you can post your statements, yeah. You can ask your questions, They can help you get your life moving in the right direction. If you need advice on marriage, advice on finance, advice on healing, advice on credit, this the podcast that you need to check out. Go ahead and tune in, you'll feel what I'm talking about.
Baby,